Okay, so let's talk about AI. Have you ever wondered why some voices, some experts in your industry, seem to get amplified by AI over and over again, while other equally brilliant people are just ignored? Well, it's not random. And in this explainer, we're going to decode exactly how these systems choose their sources. Think of this as your new playbook for becoming an authority in the age of AI. You've definitely seen this happen, right? You ask an AI a question about your industry, and boom, the same names just pop up time and time again. And you're sitting there thinking, hey, what about me? What about my expertise? It's a really frustrating feeling, and believe me, it is happening to executives everywhere. So what's the secret? What do they know that you don't?
Well, the answer is probably a lot simpler than you think. See, the AI isn't playing favorites. It's not magic. It's just following a set of rules, patterns, really. And once you understand those patterns, you can stop guessing and start building a strategy that actually works.
So first, let's meet the big players in this new landscape. We're going to look at the three AI giants, ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Claude. Now, each one has its own, let's call it an appetite. They each have their own way of looking at the world and their own rules for who they consider a trustworthy source.
This right here is key. It shows us there's no single one-size-fits-all approach. For example, if you want to show up in Perplexity, you've got to focus on publishing timely, super relevant content on a site with real domain authority. But for ChatGPT, it's all about consistency. It wants to see a whole library of your work that proves you're an expert over the long haul. And then you have Claude, which is all about credibility and safety. It's looking for well-respected outlets and authors with a proven track record of accuracy.
So we've seen how they're different. But now let's get to the really good part, the secret sauce, you could say. These are the universal rules that all three of these AI systems reward. This is where you can really start to move the needle.
These are the three pillars of what I call AI authority: credibility density, answer proximity, and topical consistency. If you can master these three things, you'll be well on your way to becoming a go-to source for AI. So let's break them down, one by one.
First up, credibility density. Think of it like this. An article you write on a personal blog, that's like a whisper. But that exact same article published in, say, the Harvard Business Review, that's a megaphone. AI is listening for the megaphone. It's actively looking for these signals of trust, things like a well-known author, a reputable publication, and, crucially, citations from other experts.
Next up, we have answer proximity, and this one is so simple, but so many people get it wrong. It just means get to the point. An AI is like a busy executive. It doesn't have time to read through a long, fluffy introduction. It wants the answer, and it wants it now. So give it what it wants. Put your key insights right at the top, clear as day.
And last but not least, topical consistency. The best way to think about this one is like building a brand for yourself. See, one great article could just be a fluke, right? But a dozen great articles, all on the same topic, that's a track record. That shows you're not just a one-hit wonder. You're a legitimate expert. And that's who AI wants to cite.
All right, now that we know what works, we have to talk about what doesn't. Because frankly, a lot of the content that companies are putting out there is actually working against them. It's basically a masterclass in how to be completely ignored by AI.
Now, this might be a tough pill to swallow, but most corporate content is totally invisible to AI. And look, it's not your fault. We've all been taught to write this way. But the reality is that AI is looking for something very different. It's looking for real people with real expertise who are willing to share what they know without wrapping it up in a big sales pitch.
But here's the good news. This is all fixable. You don't need to be some kind of marketing genius to get noticed by AI. You just need to be willing to change the way you think about and create content.
And if there's one thing you take away from this, it should be this: you are in control. Getting cited by AI isn't about luck. It's not about some mysterious algorithm you can't understand. It's a direct result of being deliberate in how you build and structure your content. You can choose to be an active participant here.
So, to recap, it really all comes down to those three things: credibility density, answer proximity, and topical consistency. If you get these right, you won't just be showing up in AI answers. You'll actually be shaping the entire conversation in your industry.
So far, we've really covered the what and the why. But in our next explainer, we're going to dive deep into the how. We'll give you a step-by-step tactical guide for creating content that ChatGPT simply can't ignore. You are not going to want to miss it.